Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Thank you. Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Haribo. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Go Premanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, starting with the 25th verse. Do we have the extra microphone? We're all going to read? Oh, thank you. Good. Okay, who wants to start us out? Text 25.
Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, accompanied by great sages like Narada, Devala and Vyasa, and by other demigods like Indra, Chandra and Varuna, invisibly approached the room of Devaki, where they all joined in offering their respectful obeisances and prayers to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who can bestow blessings upon everyone.
The demigods prayed, O Lord, you never deviate from your vow, which is always perfect because whatever you decide is perfectly correct and cannot be stopped by anyone. Being present in the three phases of cosmic manifestation, creation, maintenance, and annihilation, you are the supreme truth. Unless one is completely truthful, one cannot achieve your favor, which therefore cannot be achieved by hypocrites. You are the active principle, the real truth, in all the ingredients of creation, and therefore you are known as Antaryami, the inner force. You are equal to everyone, and your instructions apply for everyone, for all time. You are the beginning of all truth, therefore, offering our obeisances, we surrender unto you. Kindly give us protection.
The body, the total body and the individual body are of same composition, may figuratively be called the original tree. From this tree, which fully depends on the ground of material nature, come two kinds of fruit, the enjoyment of happiness and the suffering of distress. The cause of the tree, forming its three roots, is association with the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance. The fruits of bodily happiness have four tastes: religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, which are experienced through five senses for acquiring knowledge in the midst of six circumstances: lamentation, illusion, old age, death, hunger, and thirst. The 7 layers of bark covering the tree are skin, blood, muscle, fat, bone, marrow, and semen, and the 8 branches of the tree are 5 gross and 3 subtle elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. The tree of the body has 9 hollows: the eyes, the ears, the nostrils, the mouth, the rectum, and the genitals, and 10 leaves, the 10 airs passing through the body. In this tree of the body, there are 2 birds. One is the individual soul, and the other is the super soul.
The efficient cause of this material world manifested with its many varieties as the original tree O Lord, you are also the maintainer of this material world, and after annihilation, you are the one in whom everything is conserved. Those who are covered by your external energy cannot see you behind this manifestation, but there is not the vision of learned devotees.
O Lord, you are always in full knowledge, and to bring all good fortune to all living entities, you appear in different incarnations, all of them transcendental to the material creation. When you appear in these incarnations, you are pleasing to the pious and religious devotees, but for non-devotees, you are the annihilator.
O lotus-eyed Lord, By concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nescience, one follows in the footsteps of Mahajans, great saints, sages, and devotees. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nescience as easily as one steps over the print of a calf.
Do you want to read? O Lord, who resemble the shining sun, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee, and therefore you are known as a desire tree, Vansha Kalpataru. When acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of nations, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross. And because you are very merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. What nice reading. Okay, we'll read the verse, the Sanskrit. Swayam samutira sudastratam duman. 31, I think, was the... Sorry. The verse we'll recite and read the purport to 31. All right. Svayam samutirya sudastram dumyam Pavarvanavam bhimam adabra sodraha Bhavat padam bohurha navam atrate Nidaya yataha sad anugraho bhavan Svayam samutirya sudasritam duman Bhavarnavam bhimam adbradha sobdra Bhavat padam bohurha navam atrate Nidaya yataha sad anugraha bhavan. Please repeat. Svayam sumitre sudas bhavan. So we'll read together. Svayam, personally. Samutraya, perfectly crossing. Sudristaram, which is very difficult to cross. Duman, O Lord, who appear exactly like the sun, illuminating the darkness of this world of ignorance. Bhava Anarvatam, the ocean of nescience. Bhimam, which is extremely fierce. Adara Suraya, devotees who are incessantly friendly to the fallen souls. Bhavat pada braho, your lotus feet. Nava, the boat for crossing. Atra, in this world. Te, they, the Vaishnavas. Yadaya, leave behind. Yata, onto the ultimate destination. Vaikuntha, Sat Anugraha, those merciful to the devotees. Bhavan, you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O Lord, who resemble the O Lord, who resemble the shining sun, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee, and therefore you are known as a desire tree, Vancha Kalpatru. When acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of nescience, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross. And because you are very merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them. Should we repeat the verse? Do we do that? Yeah. Please repeat. O Lord, who resemble the shining sun, you are always ready to fulfill the desire of your devotee. And therefore you are known as a desire tree, Vanchakalpataru. When acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of nescience, they leave behind on earth the method by which they cross. And because you are very merciful to your other devotees, you accept this method to help them. Purport. This statement reveals how the merciful acharyas and the merciful Supreme Personality of Godhead together help the serious devotee who wants to return home back to Godhead. Excuse me. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his teachings to Rupa Goswami, has said, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Pasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bij. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 19.151. One can achieve the seed of Bhakti Lata, devotional service, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. The duty of the Guru is to find the means, according to the time, the circumstances, and the candidate, by which one can be induced to render devotional service, which Krishna accepts from a candidate who wants to be successful in going back home, back to Godhead. After wandering throughout the universe, a fortunate person within this material world seeks shelter of such a guru or acharya who trains the devotee in suitable ways to render service according to the circumstances, so that the Supreme Personality of Godhead will accept the service. This makes it easier for the candidate to reach the ultimate destination. The acharya's duty, therefore, is to find the means by which devotees may render service according to references from Shastra. Rupa Goswami, for example, in order to help subsequent devotees, published such devotional books as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Thus, it is the duty of the acharya to publish books that will help future candidates take up the method of service and become eligible to return home back to Godhead by the mercy of the Lord. In our Krishna consciousness movement, this same path is being prescribed and followed. Thus, the devotees have been advised to refrain from 4 sinful activities: illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, and gambling, and to chant 16 rounds a day. These are bona fide instructions. Because in the Western countries, constant chanting is not possible, one should not artificially imitate Haridas Thakur, but should follow this method. Krishna will accept the devotee who strictly follows the regulated principles and the method prescribed in the various books and literatures published by the authorities. The Acharya gives the suitable method for crossing the ocean of nescience by accepting the boat of the Lord's lotus feet. And if this method is strictly followed, the followers will ultimately reach the destination by the grace of the Lord. This method is called Acharya Sampradaya. It is therefore said, Sampradaya Vinhini Ye Mantraste Nishphala Mataha Padma Purana. The Acharya Sampradaya is strictly bona fide. Therefore, one must accept the Acharya Sampradaya. Otherwise, one's endeavor will be futile. Srila Narottam Das Thakur therefore sings, Tandera Chanera Sevi Bhakti Sane Vasa Janme Haya E Abhilasa. One must worship the lotus feet of the Acharya and live within the society of devotees. Then one's endeavor to cross over nescience will surely be successful. Omagana Timrandasya Jananjanan Salakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobisham Shapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Sva Padanti Kam Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripasinuvasavacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being here. Today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Reading from the spotless Purana. It said that this book, the Srimad Bhagavatam, will give light in this dark age of Kali Yuga, right? What is darkness a symbol of? Ignorance, right? When you're in ignorance, it's akin to darkness. When there's light, oh, I can see what's going on. You have knowledge, you have gyan, you have awareness. You can see what's what. So this great literature that we're so fortunate to have, translated by Srila Prabhupada, explained by Srila Prabhupada, and we're in a wonderful prelude to the appearance of Krishna. All right, the next chapter we're going to read, the birth of Lord Krishna. Is God born? No, he appears. He appears. Right now he's in the mind of who? Yes, he's in the heart. That's right. Excuse me, the heart. He wasn't in the mind. He's in the heart, isn't he, of Yashoda. And he's going to get ready. Was it Devaki first, and then he gets transferred to Yashoda, right? Anyway, Krishna isn't born by normal process like we are in the material world. Krishna is going to appear, and who comes to see Krishna? Demigods, right. How do they approach the room of Devaki? Invisibly. Wasn't that cool? They come invisibly. So they're there. And they start out, when they give prayers, they cover everything, right? Did you notice that? They start to talk about the body and all the parts of the body. It's like detailed explanation of, and then they build up, they work up. You know, and they get up to the modes of material nature, the supreme absolute truth, and they're like, and this is you. You're here. You're with Devaki. You're about to take birth. And the prayers by the demigods are what we're reading now. They're excited, right? Because they know Krishna is going to appear. And so we read in the verse how the Lord, you resemble the shining sun, right? Can anybody look at the sun? No, you can't. If you look at the sun, what happens? You fry your eyes. You'll go blind, right? But and the Lord is said to be like millions of shining suns, right? So how can we look at him? He's so effulgent. And what we're going to find, the real answer is, to understand Krishna, what do we need? Better eyes? Spiritual eyes? A spiritual master, right. We need guru. And it's referred to specifically the Guru Parampara. Prabhupada really mentions that strongly, that there is a bona fide sampradaya. What's a sampradaya? What does that mean? Right, it's a chain, it's a lineage. And there's said to be only two extant, right? There's Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya, which is what we're in, right? What's the other one? The Sri Sampradaya, yes. We have devotees come to the temple who are Sri Vaishnavas. We have one Sri Vaishnava couple, Dwarka Prabhu and Mother Chitra. They are Sri Sampradaya, in the Sri Sampradaya. And they worship Lakshmi, right? And they do lots of deity worship, and they're wonderful devotees. So we're very fortunate in the world today that the Sri Sampradaya and the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, and particularly ISKCON, are close. They have good relation. So we're happy to have Dwarka and Chitra come. And I've known him for 30 years. He's a wonderful, wonderful couple, wonderful family, devotees. And so these sampradayas, there has to be a bona fide sampradaya. It's very important that we approach the Lord in a bona fide manner, right? Because what are we seeing in the world? Lots of people who make up their own religion, right? I'm going to meditate. When I was younger, I thought I could sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and I was going to explain God. I was going to figure out God just writing things down. You know, how silly is that? You know, you realize pretty quickly, if you keep up with that, what's the conclusion you come to? I'm God, right? Maybe I'm really God, you know. But it's, Jai Shishivada Kalachanji Ki Jai. The real method of getting to Krishna and crossing the fierce ocean of nescience, what is the recommended method? What is stated in the verse and purport? What do we use? A boat. What's the boat? What is the boat made of? Lotus feet. It's a lotus foot boat. Is that like a giant cruise ship shaped like a foot? Do all get on the ship and they have games and a buffet and a pool? No. We're talking metaphorically, symbolically, right? It's a symbolic foot. And the foot means we take shelter of the lotus feet. Why feet? Why not head? Why not body? Because, does anyone want to say? Why do we say take shelter of the lotus feet instead of saying take shelter of the mind and intelligence of the spiritual master? It's the same reason we start out with Krishna at the feet, right? Out of respect. We don't just sit there and go, oh, hey, Lord, hey, Krishna, I'm glad you finally showed up. I've been wanting to see you for a long time, God's here. Oh, really? Okay, introduce me. Hey, oh, hi, God, No, what do? You don't start at his face, right? The whole Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's body. It's his body? Yeah. And the early part of the Bhagavatam are his feet. And then we work up as we get up to the 10th canto. What's the 10th canto? His face. Yes. So now we finally qualified ourselves. We started at the feet and we move up and we're about to see, we're getting to see Krishna's face. It's revealed. The 10th canto is really big, right? It's really long, a lot of verses. So in the same way, the lotus feet of the spiritual master are this special boat. Jai Shri Shri Radha Kala Chandji, Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Subhadra Jai Shri Shri Karnitai. The lotus feet are likened unto a boat, because to take shelter of the Guru, we refer to it as taking shelter of his lotus feet, the lotus feet of the spiritual master. They're not ordinary feet, right? They're considered lotus feet. They're like lotuses, like flowers. Wow, yeah. Because the spiritual master is complete in and of himself. You know, one part of his body isn't any more special than any other. But out of respect, we start out at the lotus feet as sadhakas, right? As bhaktas, as devotees, as persons who are trying to perform devotional service, right? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarnam, Padasevanam. We begin by hearing and chanting. What do we chant? Hare Krishna. We chant the Lord's holy names, and we hear the holy names. Who else are we supposed to hear from? The Guru, right? So by hearing from the Guru, that's what it means to take shelter of the lotus feet of a spiritual master, is to hear from the Guru. And not just hear, but to actually surrender yourself to their instructions and to accept them in your heart as your guide and guiding principle of your life, for what is the most important thing that you could do as a human being, which is to perform devotional service, to try and understand who is Krishna, who is God. That everybody come to the movement because they say, why am I here on this planet? Why am I suffering? Why is the world so hard? Why can't I control myself, right? All of these questions are there, and we're going through these things. And some of us are born in the movement, and so maybe didn't question that as much, didn't have the horribleness of having to try and enjoy the material world and getting totally wiped out by it, right? You just realize this is not where the fun is. Nobody's happy trying to have sense gratification in the material world. Some of you young people, you've never seen it. You've been out in the material world. You've never seen ardent, persons trying to enjoy themselves in the most degraded and horrible way. You haven't seen it, and you're lucky you don't want to see it. If you do see it, you will see very quickly that these people are not happy. They're not happy. They're trying to enjoy themselves, and they're not happy. Actually, they're very much open to Krishna consciousness. They're open. Many of them are ready to hear about how can I control myself? What is the real goal of life? And when you're very fortunate, you meet a devotee. The devotee gives you a book. You read about Prabhupada. You read about Prabhupada's instructions. And you come to this point. So let's get back to the verse. The demigods are talking about Krishna. Do the demigods know anything? Yeah, they're pretty smart, like Lord Brahma. Now, sometimes they make mistakes, right? There's one right here where Indra made a mistake, right? And he sent torrential rain. And Krishna had to do what? Lift Govardhan Hill, right? A giant umbrella. Can you imagine that? Giant umbrella. No one ever thought of that in fiction or any story. That's what really happened. And it's an incredible story. It's beyond anything anyone, it's proof. Krishna is so amazing. And Indra wanted to kill everyone. Is that something or what? I mean, he wanted to kill everybody. And so it happens that even Indra can fall into illusion. What to speak of us, right? What's our illusion? Oh, I'm the owner of this thing. I own this car, house. These are, we want to get away from the sense of ourselves as enjoyers, because the demigods have really refined enjoyment. It's very subtle, but they're attached to it like we are. So by learning about Krishna, by learning about his qualities, name, form, pastimes, the more we hear about it through the bona fide spiritual master, the more we can understand we are not our bodies, right? What are we really? If we're not our bodies, what are we really? The soul, right? What's the soul made of? Soul, is that like what, a little thing in our heart, little marble, is it? Is it a crystal in there? I take it out and, hey, here's my soul. Hey, you got a lot of soul. Are some souls bigger than others? What's a soul really made of? Right, Satchit Ananda, eternity, knowledge, and bliss. It's spiritual. It's a spiritual spark. Wait a minute. I've never seen spiritual. How do I know spirit exists? How do we know it exists? How do we know there's a spiritual life? Consciousness. I think that's the biggest evidence is you're conscious, right? I can look around, I can question, why am I here? We're not inert, we're not piles of lumps sitting there. We can think, feel, and we can have a deeper sense that we are something more than the body, right? Because what's the big thing happening all around us? Every day, death, right? We're seeing the bodies go away. Trees, plants, animals, humans are dying in the millions, billions every day. This is said to be the planet of death. Wow. So if you see all this death, you say, well, I'm not permanent. I don't know what, a lot of people think, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't care what's going to happen. I'll die and that's it. I'm just done. And whatever it is, doesn't matter. I never liked that explanation. I never thought that. I thought it was kind of a cop-out, just giving up. Oh, I don't care. We're all raised with some kind of beliefs, and then we add to those beliefs. And it turns out, reincarnation, right? We've been adding to those beliefs for many, many lifetimes, right? And what's the culmination? The culmination, the sonum bonum of life. Krishna stu Bhagavam Swayam. Krishna's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh, there's a creator. There's a maintainer. There's a destroyer of the material world. Well, what happens to the material world? If the material world's temporary, where do we go? If the material world's gone, we go back to the spiritual world, right? Well, what if I don't want to go there? I want to stay. I want some more lives here. I want some more lifetime material. We go into, and that's mentioned in a couple of verses earlier, we go back into the body of the Lord, right? Mahavishnu, giant form of Vishnu. And all the souls that haven't figured it out yet, they have to go back into the body of Mahavishnu and wait for another universe. And then they come back into the universe. And so, how many times have we done that? Do you know? Trillions? How many universes have we already come into, tried to enjoy ourselves, gone back into the body of Mahavishnu? A lot, right? Now's our chance. Let's get out of this material world. It's a place of suffering. What people think of as enjoyment is really just not suffering, right? We don't know what real enjoyment is, but we have been given descriptions of what real enjoyment is, and they're in these paintings, right around the temple room. Interaction with Krishna is the kind of enjoyment that doesn't run out, right? You enjoy with Krishna, it's supreme. There is no anxiety around it. You don't have to worry about getting up and going to a job, or where your next meal is coming, or your health insurance, or anything else, right? You're in a relationship with the Lord. And the Lord's very kind. The spiritual world or the material world is said to be a perverted reflection of the material world, right? So we see a lot of fun things in this world because they do have their perfect and pure form in the spiritual world. What's the biggest, funnest thing we ever experienced in our lives that has that's really celebrated entirely in the spiritual world? I'm thinking of childhood, right? Wasn't that the most carefree time for us? There's kids here. Do you worry about going grocery shopping, making a salary, maintaining a car, paying the rent, buying clothes. Who takes care of you when you're sick? Mom and dad, right? What do you do the rest of the time? Well, I have to learn a little bit. I have to help out around the house and some chores. But what is mostly childhood about? Having fun, right? And if you don't believe that, come Sunday night and see the kids in the park. For 3 hours, they're out there having a blast. If they can't play soccer, they play dodgeball. If they can't play dodgeball, they beat up each other. No, I'm joking. They don't fight. They're good kids. They'll hide and seek. They'll come in the temple. They'll run through the hallway and drive everybody crazy and scream and yell. And then I have to say, don't do this. No. It's wonderful, isn't it? Are you having fun? Are you having fun? Do you realize? I don't want to spoil it for you. But this is the most fun you're ever going to have. No. Y'all are born as devotees, so you'll maintain devotion. You'll actually begin to develop pleasure in Krishna consciousness. What? There's relationships available right now in my life in the material world. Can I be happier than I was trying to enjoy myself? Yeah. When you surrender to the spiritual master, the sweetness of that relationship is intense. It's amazing, isn't it? We all think of our gurus. It's a spiritual relationship. So it's not based on, hey, I didn't get a phone call from my guru in a while, right? I haven't got a text message. I'm not getting any emails. I'm not hearing. No, it's not like that. It's a transcendental spiritual relationship. And it's all set up and arranged by Krishna. And Krishna is literally the spiritual master. Krishna appears in the form of the guru. But he's an individual person. He's not Krishna himself. But he's empowered by Krishna. And a pure devotee can do anything Krishna can do. Wow. Anything? This is what mixes up Christians, because they say, is Jesus God? Or is he the Son of God? Is he ordinary soul? Or what if he's God, then who's God? Right? They don't realize that God can empower someone from the spiritual world. That some souls are so perfect and pure. They're pure devotees. They have pure love of God. God says, oh, you're willing to go to the spiritual world for me? Thank you. I'm sorry, the material world. Go to the material world and help all these souls. Be the boat. Be the boat that helps them cross the ocean of nescience. And then I'm going to empower you to do everything I could do if I came. But Krishna, why does Krishna want someone else to do it? So that they'll be glorified more than him. Krishna's God, and he's the supreme enjoyer, right? If he's the supreme enjoyer, don't you think he wants all of the praise? Doesn't he want all the credit? No. Apparently, Krishna is so kind and so magnanimous, he wants to give credit to us. Credit for what? Just for waking up and being a good person? Yes, you get credit for that. But he really wants credit for all of us to go out and help others to understand Krishna, right? Book distribution, prasadam distribution, harinam distribution. Go out on the street. If you have a job, if you're just going to the grocery store, if you're just walking around, you meet somebody, you smile at them, give them a book, give them a card. We have cards that'll invite people to the temple, to Kalachandji's restaurant, right? And people come. They come. Now, do all of them become devotees right away? No. It sometimes takes a little while. That's okay. But they've started. Prabhupada said that you've helped them start their devotional life, and pretty soon they're going to come back. They'll go back home, back to Godhead. They'll become devotees. They'll accept Guru. So that's the wonderful thing about being able to perform devotional service. Because this is, did y'all notice this language that the verse uses? When acharyas completely take shelter under your lotus feet in order to cross the fierce ocean of nescience. Fierce, that's a strong word, isn't it? Fierce ocean of nescience. So we're talking about an ocean of nescience. What does that mean? Darkness, faults, nescience. Not a good word, right? Bad stuff, difficult things, pratfalls, We're talking about a giant hole that's covered over with foliage that you don't see it and you fall in it. You can't get out of that well, that deep, dark hole of darkness, nescience, right? And it's fierce. It's fierce in there. So how do we get out of that? How do we cross over that without being affected by it? The lotus feet of the spiritual master. And it starts with the lotus feet of Krishna. Who's Krishna's representative? The spiritual master. Who's a bona fide spiritual master? One who is in the Guru Parampara. That has to be the sampradaya, the proper sampradaya. It has to be a strictly bona fide acharya sampradaya. Otherwise, one's endeavor will be futile. Do we not see this amongst many religious sects? They're frustrated, aren't they? I don't want to name names, but their practice is good if they love God, but they get crosswise, they get off track, and they think, oh, it's about hurting people, or it's about pushing this belief on someone else, or about ours is the only way. So it's futile. And the reason they're not more successful is because they don't have the bona fide sampradaya. They have bits of it, right? And what happens like Bhagavad Gita? When Krishna speaks Bhagavad Gita, what happens? Over time, the knowledge is lost. So he has to come and speak it again. So it's just like Jesus' time. Jesus' teachings were pretty good, right? And then thousands of years go by. What happens? It gets changed. It gets chopped up. It gets moved around. The prophet, Muhammad, his teaching almost instantly changed. Argument. The two sons, the brothers split off. There's family, fratricidal problems, right? And so even to this day, Islam has split off into these two groups. And what are they? At each other's throats, right? They're fighting so fiercely. And so we have to stay on track. We have to keep in the boat, worshiping Krishna through serving and following the instructions of the spiritual master. Then one's endeavor to cross over nescience will surely be successful. Like it's an ocean, right? An ocean's pretty big. Can you imagine stepping over the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean? You can't even see it, the curvature of the earth. But it can be shrunk down into the amount of a calf's footprint. A little cow, right? A baby cow. How small is that foot, the calf? And that's about that big, right? Well, that's easier to cross over, isn't it? Who doesn't want to do that? So we've got the instructions. We've got the ways we know what we have to do. Does anybody think it's easy? No, I don't think it's easy. It's frustrating, right? It's easy if you follow strictly. My problem, I'm just speaking for myself, I don't follow strictly enough. So what's the problem? I have problems as a result. I'm not happy as I could be in Krishna consciousness. Now, I read something that was really helpful from a devotee's book. It's from O Hare Krishna Airport. And this Trinakarta Das, he was a book distributor in Chicago. And it's a fascinating book. It's a fabulous book. I highly recommend it. It's short, but one of the main things I got out of that book is how empowered the book distributors were. How did they get so empowered? Does anybody know? Say it. Right. But specifically, what did they do every morning? I'll give you the hint. It's real basic, right? They went to the morning program. They went to Mangal Arti. They chanted their rounds together. They chanted intensely. On the ride from the temple to the airport, they listened to Srimad Bhagavatam, to Chaitanya Charitamrita. In 5 or 6 years of doing book distribution, they went through it a couple times. Because they would drive there and drive back. Every time, just hearing. And when you do that, you become empowered. It's about empowerment. When you can follow the instructions of the spiritual master like that, and Prabhupada set up these temples and this movement in our daily routine for a reason. It's mentioned in the verse we just read. Why does it work? Because Krishna has a way that if you do certain things, spiritual practices, as established by the Acharya, then you can understand these principles. So I want to read you this. It's a little over time, but what I'm going to read you is Srila Prabhupada from January 25th, 1977 in Puri. That's Jagannath Puri, right? Srila Prabhupada was recalling his heart attack on board the Jaladuta. But the reason I wanted to read you all this is because it deals with why are things difficult for devotees, right? Because when you first join, you think, oh, it's going to be easy, right? It's going to be simple. I'll be a pure devotee in a year or two, right? I'm going to chant sincerely. I'm going to do service, book distribution. But then you really realize you have a lot more anartas, unwanted things in the heart. And then, after the initial blush, right? When everyone joined, you get that first rush of Krishna consciousness, and everything is really easy, right? And it's really attractive, and you love everyone, right? You love all the devotees. You'll take remnant from any devotee, right? And then later on, you get into the harder-nosed aspect of really becoming a devotee. You finally get initiated, and that's when your devotional life really begins, right? And so Krishna starts to send difficulties. What? Why would he do that? Why would Krishna send us difficulties as devotees? So that we'll go to the next level, right? What happens when you've got a nice racehorse and you're going over, the steeplechase, you're going over barriers? Each time you raise that barrier, the horse gets better. The horse gets better. And so you keep raising the bar. It's like that for us. The tests have to become more difficult. And at the very end, the tests were intense, right? Krishna gave Prabhupada heart attacks. I could never understand that. I mean, until I read this, I didn't understand it. Why would Krishna give Prabhupada heart attacks? He's already his pure devotee, right? He loves Krishna. There's never a moment in his life. Prabhupada said there was never a moment in his life he did not know who was Krishna. So the question becomes, why would Krishna make him do that? So Prabhupada speaks about this. This is Prabhupada speaking. The word pratihara, pratihata means checking. When your devotional service makes progress in spite of checking, that is pure devotion. I was attacked by a heart attack thrice while on Jaladuta, twice, 2 consecutive days, attack. Actually, I would have died on the ship before reaching your country. I could not understand that it was heart attack. The pain was so severe. I thought, I am now dying. And it happened on 2 nights. I was very much afraid whether on the 3rd night it will recur. I was thinking, if tonight also the pain comes again, then I'll die. But 3rd night, it did not pain. It was suspended. So, bodily, mental, enemies, so many impediments will come. What can be done? We have to tolerate. This is material world. We cannot expect smooth, very happy. That is not possible. Krishna is advising Arjuna, What to speak of us? What are we in comparison to Arjuna? He is personal friend, talking with Krishna. He said, Tams Tatikshava. Krishna never said, I have made some magic. You'll have no failure like that. Tams Tatikshava. You just tolerate. That's all. He never gave any tablet, any pill. Chuckling. Prabhupada laughs. As the modern gurus say, I'll give you some ash and there will be no more trouble. Krishna said, just tolerate. That's all. He could have said, I'll give you some ash. You are an ass. I'll give you some ash. Laughter. Neither Arjuna also asked, why are you asking me to fight? Give me some ash. I'll throw. He was not such a fool that he asked some magic from Krishna to kill his enemies. Actually, he fought. This is Bhagavad Gita. So face things as they are and depend on Krishna. That is our duty. We must go on with our duty. Don't expect any ash, miracle, magic. Wasn't that nice? I thought that was incredible. And I think, it really resonated, the miracle part, because a lot of people are attracted to Lord Jesus. They hear his pastimes and the miracles he performed, And it said that after Jesus was crucified, Caesar was very upset because here was a man that could cure disease. He wanted Jesus brought to Rome, right? He was sick. He needed help. And apparently there was a painting made of Lord Jesus. There was a painting made of Jesus at the time. And that painting could cure people. So, just an aside. But the point is, I heard that Prabhupada said that, he revered Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus is our guru. But he said it wasn't good, all the miracles he did. He showed too much of his mystic powers. And then for people who don't understand it, they think that's what it's about, right? They think it's about longer life, preserving your health, mystic powers, give me some ash, I'll use the ash to get gold or whatever, And this was something that a certain practitioner in India did, right? He could make ash appear in his hands, right? And so everybody flipped out and think that was some big, it's sacred ash. It's just ash, some magic act, right? So Prabhupada is explaining to us, don't go for that magic thing. That's not what we're about. The magic is in the effort, our effort, devotional effort. That's where the magic is. Magic is, don't expect Krishna to give you some magic or some pill or some potion or some special mantra. We do have a very special mantra, right? Hare Krishna. But it's not something that works in a way to give you control of the White House, for instance, right? If you chant Hare Krishna, are you our next president? You should be, it'd be nice. But, you know what I'm saying? But people think that's what religion is about. So Prabhupada is explaining, and isn't it amazing that Prabhupada was willing to be this example for us today, that he had to undergo heart attacks and had to suffer and think he was leaving his body. He did that for us as an example for us to see, that's going to happen to us, right? We're going to have pains. We're going to have disease. We're going to have difficulties. And we're going to go, is it now, Lord? Is now the time, Lord? No, I was just testing you, right? And we shouldn't think that it's going to be easy. We have to face the world in a realistic way and not be afraid, right? Recognize that Krishna's behind it, but that we are... we depend on Krishna. We face things as they are. It's the material world. We have to tolerate. Tolerate. That's a hard one, right? Because I know when sometimes I think, why is this Krishna consciousness so hard like this? Why do I have to tolerate this? We have to tolerate till we get out. And what's the other reason? So we'll do what we have to do to get out, right? If it weren't bad, we'd give up. I'm already there. I got second initiation. That means I don't have to do anything else, right? right? I'm there. Okay. No, that's the beginning. That's the beginning. When you get first, you get second initiation. That's the beginning of your spiritual life. Wow. Sorry to go on over a little bit late. Any comments, questions? Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for a very enthusiastic and very relevant class.
Thank you.
I was thinking this last part of the translation where it says that, the Acharya leaves behind on earth the method by which they cross, and because Krishna is very merciful to the other devotees, he accepts this method to help them. So it seems that there's like a transcendental pact, between Krishna and the Acharya. The Acharya is like, all right, this is what I'm going to tell people to do. And Krishna's like, okay, noted, accepted. If they do what you tell them to do, they're in. I'll accept them. So, this is it speaks a lot to the relationship between Krishna and his pure devotees, Krishna and the Acharya, that Krishna accepts the method that the Acharya prescribes, whatever it is. And the Acharya's position is that they can make some adjustments, right? Like Srila Prabhupada, 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles. And Krishna's like, okay, that'll work.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Thanks for pointing that out. I wanted to refer to that, but I just didn't really get to it. It's so wonderful. It's how much Krishna leaves to the Acharya based on time, place, and circumstance. And it said the guru has to train the devotee in a suitable way to render service according to the circumstances, so that the Supreme Personality of Godhead will accept the service. So what we do is not even acceptable unless it's done under the auspices of the spiritual master. And apparently with different time, place, and circumstances, different parts of the world, different cultures, right? Different planets, who knows how different it may be. There's different ways that the Acharya has to be empowered by Krishna to make their efforts suitable for the Lord. Isn't that amazing? Wow, very powerful. And of course, I wanted to mention that Prabhupada mentions Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? The nectar of devotion. He mentions it so often, So, such an important book, and it's left behind. He gives us an example, what Rupa Goswami left behind for us, the nectar of devotion. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I heard in a class from Gaurang Darshan Prabhu, and he says that the miseries come in a materialistic person's life because of their karma. For a sadhaka's life, because of their purification. But when it comes in pure devotee's life, for their glorification. Because we keep saying Prabhupada got heart attack. We don't say Prabhupada ate prasadam, Prabhupada slept, but we talk about the misery, and that makes Prabhupada even brighter and shines makes Prabhupada shine even further. So, for glorification, Krishna brings the misery to pure devotee's life.
Yeah, no question. It wasn't an ordinary heart attack. Prabhupada was the Acharya, pure devotee. And so all these things were happening for us. So later on we would learn from it. And also we're fortunate too, because everyone in here, everyone listening is a devotee. And so the things happening to you, the tests, the difficulties, are not ordinary karma. Your karma is being mitigated. Krishna's in control now. And so you're still getting maybe a little reaction from your past lifetimes, but it's mitigated by Krishna in such a way that you'll learn from it. Good things still come, bad things still come, but not nearly as good or bad as they were supposed to be, right? I mean, who wants billions of dollars? It's not a good position for a devotee to be in. Be nice to spend money for Krishna, but if you have too much money, it's scary. Thank you. Comment, question? Anybody? Yes, Prabhu.
It was a wonderful class, full of energy. As you were speaking about the childhood, I remembered somewhere I heard Srila Prabhupada once mentioned the destination of a devotee practicing Krishna consciousness in ISKCON would be, just like in that painting, the devotee would get to sit circling around Krishna, sharing his tiffin. Imagine, no birth, old age, disease, death, beautiful, pure prasadam, unlimited. You can have as much as you like, and no anxiety of putting on weight or losing weight, right? And no anxiety. You don't have to work. You don't. Absolutely no anxiety. All the time, eternally, just keep playing with Krishna.
Jai. And it's our birthright. That's our right. That's where we belong. That's our eternal relationship. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. I was thinking also about childhood and how, devotees, very pure devotees, they also have that similar mood of complete dependence on Krishna. And that same happiness and carefree nature and playful nature that comes from complete dependence on somebody that you have 100% faith that they're going to take care of you. If you look at some of our senior sannyasis, it's like they don't think about where their next meal is coming from or who's going to pay the bills or, who's going to wash their clothes or, even their health. They're just like, Krishna's taking care, devotees are taking care. I'm just going to chant and preach and serve and remember Krishna and be happy, and they're so jolly and it's almost like a childlike innocence as well.
Yeah.
That in their character, it's something very beautiful.
And it just occurred to me as you were saying that, in the material world, no one wants to be a parent like forever, right? Taking care of little kids, right? Having to feed them every day, if there's diapers, whatever. You want them to grow up and become adults. But there's this sense of, I can't be burdened, you know what I mean, by having to, but Krishna doesn't feel that way. Krishna wants to be burdened. He wants to be our provider. He wants to be our everything. He wants to see us carefree and not have a worry in the world, knowing that he will take care of him. Because it doesn't take any effort for Krishna to do that. With a tiny spark of his splendor, he permeates all these universes. It's done. Doesn't even take very much energy for Krishna to maintain countless universes. And yet he, the controller, the creator of all those things, wants to know us. He wants to care for us and feed us and have pastimes with us. Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, just amazing. And the advanced devotees, yeah, they understand that.
That's actually we have the 6 principles of surrender, and 2 of those are to accept Krishna as one's maintainer and accept Krishna as one's protector. So he wants us to do that. Like we are reluctant to do that, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to. No, I'm going to be the provider. I'm going to protect myself and others. And Krishna's like, forget it. You can't protect even yourself. Just let me do it, and you be peaceful.
Yes. Thank you so much. Beautiful realizations. Thanks for sharing, everybody. Appreciate it so much. And thank you for being here. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Srila Prabhupada ki.